Now that we have sort of you in this mode, I think it'd be a good time to talk about the NHL, and so we can talk about your Avalanche, who are still making moves during this offseason. How are we feeling now with these glasses on, or sort of these revelations that we've had after this homework assignment?
I mean, the current Avs management philosophy has been, it is better to act now and make these moves. Like, if it's not working now, we're not going to wait and see if it gets better over time. We're going to go find other proven quantities to get the results we're expecting, essentially, which has seen a pretty huge turnover of the faces and names that we've seen across this era. Basically, only 3 or 4 guys left from the Cup lineup now, and it being those mainstay names: Delandy, McKinnon, Makar, Girard was there,
Chushkin,
Val
O'Connor.
was there. Yep, LOC.
I think that's it.
The goalie rotation is completely different. Josh Manson was there. He's still here, but basically the other 2-3 lines of forwards have all swapped out. Speaking of which, we did make an AHL level trade this week. That not a huge. The biggest note on this one is that it was a former first round draft pick that we are trading. Oscar Olason, who was our 2021 first round selection out of the Swedish junior leagues, had a pretty good first year, and then not so great second and third years. He was looking for a bounce back and is going into the last year of his sort of rookie years. So what we've done is a sort of trade of scenery trade with the San Jose Sharks for their young Daniil Gushkin, who this is kind of a win for us. He has an extra year left, so we don't have to worry about extension talks with him. We get to just kind of see what he can do for a year. Has already put up better numbers at the AHL level than Olason did, and is just 1 year older than him, I think. So his timeline is maybe a little less going, but it has a lot more positives in terms of team control and that sort of favorable cap number, and has already shown in his stop in the Quebec Major Junior Leagues, he put up a 70-point season in 40 games played, so there is definitely a higher offensive upside potential with our new Daniil Gushkin.
I remember the name here in Golinson, but I haven't heard about him since I think he probably got drafted.
He's made about 6 call-up appearances over his 3 years in the organization at this point, so we've seen little glimpses of him. In that time, he had not put up any NHL points. He was plateauing around the 25, 28 mark in the AHL, so I'm going to go let San Jose see if maybe a change of scenery helps him out, and we are getting a little maybe older prospect who we have to make more decisions on sooner, but potentially have him for longer in control and with a higher ceiling, I would say.
Do you think we will see him at all this season? This is kind of bound to happen, injuries and whatnot. We see a lot of the AHL people, our Eagles, come up and say hi, howdy for a game or two, perhaps.
Based on what we saw last season, almost certainly he will be one of the guys to be on that call-up list. Depending, almost more often than not, they like to go with the hot hand coming out of the AHL, who's been playing really well, who's on, producing points already. So if he gets on a little tear, we'll definitely see him sooner than later. But there is, very certainly going to be some of those AHL borderline guys competing for some of the fourth line spots still. We have, I believe, about $3.25 million left in open salary at the moment, and still are at 21 of 23 official roster players. So that's those last kind of, what would that be, 15th and 16th forward spot that need filling still. And if you can do it with the cheap young kids, that is ideal, as I have demonstrated in my GMing.
It's much easier if they can
just
make rookie
pick
of the
the
years.
ones that are going to be breakout stars.
Easy.
Obviously,
that's easy to do. No problem with that. I'm sure it's never led to anyone getting fired or losing their job, especially in the GM world.
I can't imagine why.
Any other hockey news to share with us before we move on here?
Yeah, just one other little note that concerns our hometown Avs, and that is that our glorious coach, Jared Bednar, winningest coach in club history, is snubbed once again from the Team Canada coaching staff for the Olympics. Don't know what Bedsy has to do anymore. He's won the championship at every level of pro hockey now, and is the only coach to do that in history. And yet, for some reason, still no... I think he got nominated once for Jack Adams, which is Coach of the Year, and otherwise never gets mentioned for the award. And I guess you can't win Coach of the Year if you have Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, I guess, but it still seems like, they didn't show up. Like, Nate didn't pop off until Bedsy showed up.
I don't know. It does seem like, for him in particular, he's a very polarizing kind of guy. You either like him or you hate him for the most part, because even here in the Great Mile High State, we're very fickle on how we feel about Bednar. Some people love him to death and love what he does and thinks that he's doing everything right, and some people just want to remove him immediately.
I mean, he's been around for so long now that it makes sense. He is, I think, now second or third most tenured coach in the NHL. That's how much turnover has happened since he took over in 2017.
Longest tenured coach in Colorado, I think, right now.
I think so. He's on like the top 10 list of been in his job the longest in coaching, because there's just been so many changes in that landscape over the years. But I mean, I'm definitely on the pro Bednar camp, especially because there's very little in the way of upgrades to. It's not like there's ex-coach floating around out there who I'm like, yeah, obviously that would be an upgrade over who has proven to be the best. I mean,
I don't know if they're like, from what I've viewed through the NHL, which is not a whole lot, but I don't know many coaches who are better than Bednar. I think just from a strategic standpoint overall, and the way he manages his team and guys, like I like the way he handles everything. It's the coach I would want to, one, have on my team if I'm the owner, and two, it'd be a coach who I want to play for.
Like, the Avs system has sort of become the power play that gets run around the league is based on what the Avs were pioneering 5 years ago under Bednar. Everyone does it that way now, with the bumper passing and the low to high. And
shame the Avs didn't do it that way last season.
That's part of the change up happening out there. But as someone who was still, paying attention to what was happening under Coach Waugh, the weakness of the team had still always sort of been the defensive side. It was like, we have so much offensive talent, but boy, oh boy, please get me 6 players who can play some defense. And now we are one of the deepest and strongest defensive cores in the league year after year. I mean, it helps to have found a Cale Makar, but even before then, when we were relying on Eric Johnson, it was still a better system with the same pieces under Bednar than it had been in the years before. So I will always be a Bednar fanatic, and it is wild to me that he has not gotten at least a nod from Team Canada for any of them, like any of the international tournaments, any of the Olympic stuff. I don't know what else. Like, he must not be one of those like networking savvy guys.
Possible. I don't know what if it's up to him to, like, if I'm going to be the coach, I want to be like the head coach or what anything, or if he's okay just being sort of an assistant on that
he's
super
a Canadian.
team.
He's not going to be that egotistical about it.
Not out in the public, but maybe there's some conversations behind the closed doors. But also, do you want to coach on these Canadian teams out here doing all the scandals in the world all the time?
That's the wild thing to me, is that the Hockey Canada, for all the turbulence it has gone through in this last year or so and lack of success, getting knocked out at the international tournaments in the post-NHL season, especially with MacKinnon and Crosby and Fleury playing for you unexpectedly. Couldn't take that one home, and they lost at the Four Nations. So a rough year for Team Canada, who, for whatever reason, stubbornly insist on continuing to do the same thing over and over.
They know the best. It is their sport. There's no one who could tell them any different.
Apparently. But that was the only 2 big notes out of the hockey world this week.